Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind Orlando. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
But the reality is by the time you're thirsty, you're actually already dehydrated.
It's a replica from the Tom Hanks movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The real one is probably encased somewhere.
It's encased, but this one is like as close as you can get to the real thing.
You know, all of that and more right here on Rise Unwind. So you probably remember the Thundermans. It's that family of super siblings trying to live that normal life. But they're back with a brand new spin-off called The Thundermans Undercover, where Phoebe, Max, and Chloe tackle fresh missions and new challenges. So joining me now are the stars themselves. We have Kosarin, Jack Griffo, and Maya Lee Clark. Welcome, everyone. All right, let's start with the basics. What's Thundermans Undercover all about?
The Thundermans Undercover follows Max and Phoebe as the Hero League sends them on an extended undercover mission in a beach town called Secret Shores. They bring Chloe along for the ride, both for training and to help them with the mission to take down the mastermind, and also just so that Chloe can experience what it's like to live a normal life undercover rather than being a famous superhero. And it feels a lot like the original Thundermans series, but with some new, exciting, fresh stuff.
So what was it like coming back for this spin-off series?
I think we were all really excited about it after doing the movie after so many years and seeing that chemistry really was still there. And it was just fun. It was just so much fun. I mean, me and Kira had the best time growing up on this show. And so to come back and get to like play the characters again in like a whole new way with new stories, 26 new episodes. I mean, we're just so incredibly lucky. And with this sort of new spin on it, we sort of come in these more mature parental roles for Chloe. We're kind of taking care of her on this new superhero undercover mission, like Kira said. But really, we want to give Chloe a more normal life, kind of like what our parents did for Phoebe and Max for us when we were kids, when we moved away from Metroburg to Hiddenville, kind of following suit and doing that again for Chloe, because we see a certain pattern that's similar to Phoebe and Max's upbringing as well.
So how do your characters grow and change in these new episodes?
With Chloe, I actually got to develop her character this season, which was fun because I used to be just a 3-year-old kind of saying lines, and now I get to really show off my acting skills. And I'd say she developed like a lot of independence and sassiness. She's been very sassy, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Phoebe and Max are always Phoebe and Max at their core. But, as we've grown as people and as actors, each time we come to the characters, obviously you have more life experience and more to bring to the character. And obviously Phoebe and Max are in a totally new paradigm. They're basically raising a 13-year-old. They're also working jobs at Chloe's school. And so it's fun to get to see Phoebe and Max in that new position. They have, some new style, some new wardrobe, some new energy. But at the end of the day, they're very much still Phoebe and Max, all of the things that make them them. Max is always fighting with his desire for fame and to be a good superhero. Phoebe is always fighting with her inability to somehow not make things worse, even though all she wants to do is be a good superhero and do great at her job. She makes a lot of puns. Max hates them. It's the old days,
Yeah, I would echo all of that as far as kind of what I was saying earlier about becoming sort of these guardians for Chloe. But also I see how we grown. I mean, I think in the original series, for example, Max was all about being a supervillain, and he grew a lot in that original series because he learned that that the good always wins and good prevails, and he ends up being a superhero, like his family always taught him that he should be. And kind of like Kira touched on a second ago, now, in the movie and even in the series, it's not about his thing isn't being a supervillain anymore, but his thing is like this like fame of being a superhero and kind of getting caught up in all that and wanting to be a hero really for the wrong reasons. And so I think over the course of this season, we showed a little bit of it in the movie, how Max sort of developed and his heart grew a couple of sizes and realized that it wasn't all about the glitz and the glam of being a superhero. And we kind of expand on that in the series, obviously. We only had a short time amount to do it in the movie, and we really expand on that, like I said, in the series. And he gets to be, like Kira said, we our undercover job at Chloe's school, and you know, find out what's important again. I think Max is someone that is impressionable and kind of gets caught up in perception, and as we all can. And so I think the overlying thing for my character is just what's important, cut the fat, what do we really care about, and at the end of the day, it's really each other and our family.
What do you think fans could look forward to the most?
I
Hopefully a
think
lot
lots
of
of fun and lots of laughs.
yeah,
Good.
a lot of guest stars from the original series, a lot of action. Jack throws a couple backflips. He makes a
I think
couple
it's
puns.
nostalgic, yet new and contemporary. I think the fans who have watched our show are gonna love it because they watched our show, and I think the fans that haven't watched it are gonna love it because it's new and it's exciting. And we have a lot of the same showrunners, all three, as the original show. So we had all that success on the original show. Kind of they're carrying over, all their amazing tools and talents to this new show. And I think every episode is great. And as the episodes continue to come out on Wednesday nights, I think fans are going to see us really hit a stride about mid season of this first season. So I'm excited to watch the series come out along with the rest of the world. So yeah.
Thank you, guys. Be sure to catch Thundermans Undercover, airing weekly on Wednesdays on Nickelodeon and streaming on Paramount Plus. Thank you so much for joining me, Kira, Jack, and Maya. Do you ever wonder what it really takes to earn one of the most iconic uniforms in sports? I would love one, but I wouldn't look good in it. Season 2 of America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, just dropped on Netflix, and it gives us an all-access pass to the high-pressure world of DCC auditions, training camp, and the life under those stadium lights. So joining us today is longtime DCC director Kelli Finglass, along with current squad members Jada McClean and Reece Weaver, here with a sneak peek behind the Pompoms. Welcome to the show, you three. How are you?
Good morning.
Great.
All right. This new season really takes viewers deeper than it has ever done before. What made you want to tell more of the story this time around, Kelli?
Well, there's just, it's a beautiful story. It's beautiful people, and I've always been very, very proud of the dance and performance achievements of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, but Netflix has now put a new lens on the cheerleaders as individuals, and you get to see this beautiful, complex life of Jada, and you see Reece's personal story, getting married, and her experiences with being a new bride. It's just it's captivating, and they're all someone that different people can relate to and be inspired from.
Jada and Reece, what was it like to have cameras following you along your journey? I have a hard time with the ones that are in this room. Did anything surprise you about watching it back after everything?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't too surprised just because, for one, we lived it. But I think we have a great camera team. I think they do their best to just be there. They don't really, force anything. They don't try to get in the middle of, anything going on. They kind of just hang around and film. So everything is very authentic, and it is really how it, was lived out. They're just there to capture it.
The show really captures how intense the training process is. What kind of pressure do you guys as dancers face both physically and emotionally?
I think, as dancers, we, from a very young age, we're constantly looking at ourselves in the mirror, and we're trying to learn technique and moves and all sorts of things in the mirror. And I think that can sometimes negatively have an effect on dancers as they grow older with comparison or wanting to have certain strengths that other girls have. But I think that for us, we all know that we are cream of the crop, and we do our best in everything that we do, but we also push ourselves. And so I'm just really grateful for the sisterhood that we have, and that camaraderie of making sure that we're the best in all that we do.
And you get to see a lot of sisterhood and personal growth this season. How has being part of the DCC changed your lives beyond the field?
Yeah, I've met some of my best friends on this team, and truly they've shaped me. They've taught me a lot about myself. They've taught me a lot about, being a good friend, being a good teammate, and being a good human being. So I'm grateful for these women. They are a lot more beautiful on the inside than they are on the outside. I know that's probably hard to believe, but I think they are amazing individuals, and I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by people like them.
I want to thank you three for joining me this morning. If you love football, dance, or just that great underdog story, check out America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, now streaming on Netflix. Thank you three for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Our next guest is unique. What do you get when you mix couture chaos, murder in paradise, and a comeback wedding with secrets that could pretty much kill? It's Another Simple Favor. It's the long-awaited sequel that reunites Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively for another round of sharp wit, killer fashion, and even deadlier twists, this time in Capri. Joining the cast is Tony winner Alex Newell, who plays Vicky, Stephanie's fierce and fabulous book agent. Welcome to the show, Alex. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
This sequel, it brings back a lot of wild energy from the original, but now we're in Capri with even more secrets and high fashion. What's it like stepping into the deliciously chaotic world?
Amazing. And I get to be in Capri. Who doesn't want that? And oh God, that backdrop is gorgeous.
Your character, Vicky, is Stephanie's book agent. Can you tell us a little bit more about them and what kind of dynamic they bring into the mix?
Chaos in the fun way. I think Vicky is somebody that everybody wants to be on vacation, and she's on a work vacation at that. So she's just trying to get a good book deal out of Miss Stephanie Smothers.
From Shucked on Broadway to a Paul Feig thriller in Italy, you've been booked and busy. What drew you to Another Simple Favor, and how did it feel to collaborate with this ensemble?
You know, when my agent texted me and said, "Hey, do you want your White Lotus moment?" I was like, absolutely. And she said, well, Paul is directing the sequel of A Simple Favor and wants you to come on out to Capri and play this role. And I was so honored because I'd worked with Paul on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist before. And so to come back and be actually directed by him and work with this incredible ensemble was just a dream come true. Everybody was so lovely.
And the movie blends comedy, mystery, and a little bit of glam, sometimes all pretty much in the same scene. What was your favorite moment in the film, or one that you think that you will always remember?
Oh my goodness. My favorite moment from the film that I think that entrance to Capri, the boat ride into it. I think that was just breathtakingly beautiful, just riding in onto it. Ugh.
And between the twists, the couture, and the cast chemistry, what do you think will surprise audiences the most this time around?
The chaos. I mean, there is so much happening that you don't get a break from it. I think that's what they'll really take from it, but also kind of like what friendship is. I think we all have that frenemy and that friend that we all like to jab at and talk to, but we love them regardless.
Alex, thanks for joining me this morning. You should check out Another Simple Favor. It's available now on Amazon Prime. Do you ever wonder what it's like to travel across Europe without knowing where you actually are? It's kind of a weird question. NBC's Destination X drops blindfolded contestants into a high-stakes, high-confusion game of trust, strategy, and pretty much pure guesswork. Joining me today is Peter Weber. Yep, Pilot Pete himself, who's no stranger to reality TV drama after The Bachelor and The Traitors. Now he's trading roses for riddles on the ultimate geo-guessing game board. Welcome to the show, Peter. How are you?
I'm so good, man. It's so good to be here with you. Super stoked to have this whole adventure play out.
All right, you've been through The Bachelor, The Traitors, and now it's Destination X. Like, what made you say yes to like hopping on a bus with strangers that have zero GPS?
I think very blessed. A lot of the opportunities I've had, but I think this was the one that I think I was made for the most. The second I heard about this, it was an immediate yes for me. Just the nature of me, my career, obviously, and the passion I've always had for traveling and seeing this world. This was just the most insane experience. And I can truly say it was the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life. The most rewarding, the most beautiful experience, the most difficult experience as well. It was like I said, an immediate yes, and so stoked that I did it.
So what makes you say that it's like the greatest experience that you've ever done?
There were so many moments throughout this game that I truly, again, your senses are deprived, right? So when you are out and about and you actually have, your mask off, you're not in the bus, It's moments that you have to take extreme advantage of. And there was just a bunch of those where I remember looking around and like it almost like gets me like emotional talking about it, because it was one of the most beautiful sceneries that I've ever encountered. And like the things that we get to do in these places, you could never imagine it, in your wildest dreams. So being able to just check off a lot of the locations, that I haven't been to, some that I had been to, but some that I hadn't as well, was incredible. And just a lot of just awe moments, just epic is, I think, the best way to describe it. And it's going to be really cool to watch it back.
And with your aviation background, you probably know your way around like a map, probably better than most of the people. Did that give you an edge, or did the game just, how they have the rules, just throw you off?
Well, what map are you talking about? We didn't get any maps on this. That was, it would have been nice to have that. No, listen, I did a little bit of prep, obviously, and tried to dig into my toolbox, just from experience of flying. It came into play a little bit. I would say, the times that it did help me, I tried to, use some like celestial navigation for trying to pinpoint at least my latitude of where I was in Europe. But again, with that, you have to have clear skies. You have to be able to be outside at night, and you have to be able to, have a shot at the North Star. So it wasn't always available. There was a couple times where I was able to recognize some departure corridors from airplanes taking off in places I had been, which was very lucky on my behalf. But I was fortunate enough to be able to take advantage of that. Other than that, though, it was a lot of alliances, and it was a lot of just being as observant as possible, and just trying to decipher what's true and what's not. Because the whole thing about this game is, yes, you're getting information, but it's not always accurate, and so you don't know if it's throwing you off, if it's a red herring, or if it's actually leading you to the correct destination. So just the ultimate guessing game. I tried to use my skills as best I could, and it was a blast.
You say it's a guessing game. You say it's about alliances. What about the mind games and like the survival? How did you approach the strategy side of all this?
Ton of strategy. Listen, ton of betrayal. That's the nature of this game. You can work with someone, so long, right? But at the end, there can only be one winner. It's not like, Traders. It was a little bit different of a format where you could work as a group and win as a group. Well, here it turns that on its head. So at some point, betrayal will happen, and it's intense. You get close with a lot of people, and that can, it's like I said, for me, it was actually a really emotional experience. It really was, and I wasn't quite expecting that, but just from the awe factor of it and being able to see so many unique parts of this beautiful world, to the personal, relationship aspect of it too, and putting trust in someone, and then either having to break that trust or have that trust broken with you. It's a tough thing to navigate. So definitely have to have some mental fortitude to make it in this game and be successful. And I would say, the majority, if not all the players, definitely had that. The casting did a great job of picking the right players.
Peter Weaver, thanks for joining me this morning. Catch Peter Weaver and the rest of the crew every Tuesday night at 10 Eastern on NBC, and stream the episodes the very next day on Peacock. Thanks for joining me this morning, Peter.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
He's back with another season of real-time, high-stakes law enforcement action. It's On Patrol Live. It's become a must-watch, taking viewers across the country as officers patrol their communities, live and unfiltered. Host and executive producer Dan Abrams is here to talk about the new season and the latest additions to the show, and what makes On Patrol Live stand out in the world of live TV. Dan, welcome to the show, my friend.
It is great to be with you.
All right, so the show has had a huge impact, giving people insight on kind of giving them an inside look at law enforcement in real time. What do you think has made On Patrol Live such a success?
I think it's the fact that we are a fly on the wall with police officers. You don't know what's going to happen next. The same way the officers don't know what's going to happen next. And the fact that we're in so many different departments, right? I mean, we're in a lot of the time 9 departments at once with multiple cameras, multiple officers, et cetera. I mean, this is quite an operation that we have here. And so I think that the uncertainty, the fact that you get to see what police officers do, is what has led this show to be as successful as it is.
And this season, you're expanding to cover Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. How has it been adding such a high-profile department into the mix?
Yeah, we think it's really important. And it was, I think a really good development for this show, because what we try to do is we try to be in different kinds of departments and in different places, right? So, we don't want just all similar departments from one state, right? That wouldn't be as interesting. So we are in states around the country. We are coast to coast. We are in some sheriff's departments. We are in some really small departments. And having Las Vegas in that mix now as a really big department, a top 10 department in the country, helps add to that diversity in terms of the types of policing you'll see on the show.
Dan Abrams, I want to thank you for joining me. And I got to show all my love to Reels channel. That's kind of where I started doing this whole TV producing and all that stuff. So big love to everybody over at Reels channel too. So there you go, man. You can catch On Patrol live every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern on Reels. Don't miss the action as law enforcement officers take you inside their nightly patrols, live and in real time. For more info, visit reels.com. Dan, thanks for joining me, my friend.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure.
So what happens when two beloved worlds from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood finally meet? It's a beautiful day indeed. In a brand new PBS Kids special, Donkey, Hodie, and Friends welcome Daniel Tiger and his dad for their very first visit to someplace else, bringing together puppets, music, and lessons inspired by Fred Rogers himself. Joining us are Kristen DeQualo, co-producer of Donkey, Hodie, and Chris Loggins, supervising producer of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, to share how this crossover came to life and why it's such a celebration of creativity, friendship, and problem solving. Welcome to the show, you two.
We're doing great.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right, so this is the first time Don Quixote and Daniel Tiger have shared the screen. How did the idea for this crossover come about?
It's been something we've been thinking about for, I would say, a few years. Well, definitely at least a couple of years, because we started writing it about 2 years ago. But Don Quixote premiered on air in 2021, and it's the second series produced by Fred Rogers Productions that features reimagined characters and worlds from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So ever since we launched Don Quixote, we thought about ways that we might start bridging it with Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Mr. Rogers. And Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood was the first series we created based on this. So we had started doing elements of that. We introduced Trolley on Don Quixote. We introduced Speedy Delivery Service, but we thought at the beginning of season 3, the time was right to bring Daniel and Dad into someplace else and reimagine them as puppets.
And fans will notice some familiar nods to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Can you share some of the special details or some of these little Easter eggs that viewers should be looking out for?
Sure. Well, I think one big one is the Look and Listen song. Both of our series are very musically driven. Both of our series feature songs, reimagined songs from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but this is the first time the Look and Listen song is going to appear in either of our shows. And it is threaded throughout the special, so that's one really nice nod. And there are other things like Trolley, and you want to talk about the clock?
Sure, yeah. It was fun for us to also include elements from Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood in this special. So what brings Dad Tiger and Daniel Tiger to someplace else is Grampy Hodie has a clock that he can't get to work. And viewers of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood maybe remember that Dad Tiger works at the clock factory. So he comes to help his old pal Grampy Hodie with his clock.
And Fred Rogers often emphasized creativity and perseverance. How do these values kind of show up in this special?
Lots of ways. We have lots of messages threaded throughout this special, but the first one is about meeting someone new. Daniel Tiger and Dad Tiger arrive on Trolley, and it's Daniel and Donkey's first time meeting each other. And for a young child, that can be uncertain, that could be exciting, it could be scary. There's a lot of big feelings wrapped into that. So we offer a strategy for that in the form of course, a really groovy song about asking lots of questions to get to know each other better when you're meeting someone new. And we think that's also, it's just really great timing right now with back to school. A lot of kids are heading back to school and meeting new friends and new classmates. So we hope that's one example of a lesson that will really resonate with everyone.
And Donkey and Daniel persevere in their quest for the rainbow ball.
Yeah.
So that's also a fun part of the episode.
Yeah.
And for families that may not watch regularly, why is now a great time to tune in, and how could they help keep supporting PBS and kids programming?
Every day is a great time to tune in. Every day is a beautiful day to watch our shows. But this, we hope, will really help bring forward the messages that are timely and timeless for all of us about managing feelings, problem solving, being resilient in the face of a challenge, meeting someone new, and just being really joyful, having a lot of fun, singing, dancing. I think that's stuff that we all need to appreciate, and it resonates now. And you can watch the special on your local PBS station. So supporting stations is really great.
And we're always thinking about about children watching with their family, their parents, and caregivers, and we hope that they can watch together and then talk about the show after they've seen it, and hopefully use some of what's in these episodes in their lives, and that it resonates and stays with them. One thing that Fred Rogers said is if we can make things more mentionable, we can make them more manageable. So hopefully this is an entry point for families to talk about these type of things that we're covering in Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Donkey Hodie.
And is that the real trolley behind you?
It's a replica from the Tom Hanks movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The real one is probably encased somewhere.
It's encased, but this one is like as close as you can get to the real thing. The set designers of that movie did an impeccable job recreating Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
All right, I just had to find out. Don't miss Daniel Tiger Visits Someplace Else. PBS depends on your support to keep programs like this on the air, so visit your local PBS station's website to donate and help keep these inspiring stories alive for future generations. I want to thank you two for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We all know staying hydrated is important, but during the summer, it can make or break your day. Dr. Dana Ryan from Liquid I.V. joins us with tips to keep your energy up, your focus sharp, and your hydration levels where they need to be. Dr. Dana, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Why is hydration so much more important during the hotter months?
Yeah, I mean, hydration is critical at any time, but think about what we do during the summer. We're exposed to heat, humidity. We're running around like crazy, and all of a sudden we can be dehydrated before we even know it.
And what happens to our body or brain when we're dehydrated, even just a little?
Yeah, so even being dehydrated just 1% to 2% can have such a wide range of effects, from physical performance. So maybe you're playing a pickup game of basketball and you just feel like you just kind of don't have it today. It could be that you're dehydrated. Maybe it's that afternoon slump sitting at your desk and you just can't focus. A lot of times the culprit can be dehydration. So really a wide range of effects from physical to mental performance.
Well, I'm bad at basketball all the time, so what are some other signs we should be watching out for?
Well, first and foremost, a lot of times people think like, I don't have to worry about hydrating until I'm thirsty. But the reality is by the time you're thirsty, you're actually already dehydrated. So really important, you plan ahead, start your day off being dehydrated. Don't start your day off being dehydrated. Start your day off being hydrated. Get the water, get the electrolytes that your body actually needs, because throughout the day, you're not just losing fluids, you're actually losing electrolytes as well. So replacing what your body needs, like sodium, is going to be critical to keep your body performing at its best.
What advice do you have for avoiding that afternoon energy dip?
Yeah, so like we were saying, plan ahead. You know, having that bottle of water nearby, having your Liquid I.V. What's great about Liquid I.V. is everything that we do is backed by science and it's clinically studied. So one of the things that we know is that it's also going to help you rapidly rehydrate. So if you get to that moment, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't had anything to drink all day, I'm dehydrated. Having that Liquid I.V. is going to actually help you rehydrate quickly to get you back on the go and help you thrive for the rest of your afternoon.
Where can our viewers go to learn more about Liquid I.V.?
Yeah, so you can go to liquid-iv.com to learn all about the science and more.
Dr. Dana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That's it for Rise Unwind Orlando. Thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, go to our website, riseunwindtv.com, fill out the form, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.